Who is this on? I think it's on the captains because this team had no sense of urgency. This team had no passion. This team had none of that out there on the field. Cardinals had a lot of it. Cardinals had a lot of it. The 49ers did not. They didn't. And probably one of the plays that kind of summarized this game, and I'm not trying to say it's on him. I'm just saying this is a small microcosm of the larger issue at hand. You got the hands to the face from Sam O on the touchdown play, which he was outside of the pocket. So all of the quarterback protections are gone when you're outside the pocket. And it's not like it was a late hit or anything. He came down, he hit him in the head for sure. Outside the pocket, it's not a penalty, but whatever, I digress. So they go for two. We get great plays up the middle, and two players that are on the edge stand and watch. And this is not who those players have been. One of those players was Fred Warner, who did not have a great game today. And I understand he's playing hobbled and all that different stuff. You had Malik Mustafa and you had Fred Warner on the edge, the offensive left, defensive right side. They stepped up, played it, come to them. They both stopped and they stood there and watched as everybody kept pushing. And afterwards, you saw Fred Warner be visibly upset with himself and the result and all those things. But it's like, have we ever known Fred Warner to loaf? No. And I don't think that like he was loafing a lot, but it's like, man, this is the fourth quarter going for two on the 1 yard line, and Fred Warner loafed. Fred Warner's my favorite player out there. Drake Greenlaw's my favorite player on the team. He even got mixed up in the sideline, whatever. But like, and I'm not saying that it's all on Fred Warner. I'm saying captains, if you're going to lead and charge up and get everybody going when it's the toughest part of the game, you have to deliver and set by example. This game was not that. It really, really wasn't. You talk about all the missed tackles. Good gosh. I thought Nick Bosa had the best game of any probably 49ers player. He was incredible. Had the interception, had the tackle for losses, was incredible in the run game. He still had like 4 missed tackles. It's not even his responsibility in the run game up the A gap on a lot of those plays, but he's in there. But arm tackles, he's getting ran through. Getting ran through. Come on, you're a captain. Trent Williams, probably his cleanest game of the year. Probably his cleanest game of the year. But, man, show some energy, some pizzazz. Get people fired up. Let's go. Run it behind me. We run it behind him, and it's not even going that well. Yeah, the run game actually was incredible the whole entire game. But we only ran it 26 times, despite averaging 6 yards per carry. And people would sit there telling me, like, oh, well, 6-man fronts and 5-man fronts. I don't give a damn. You run the ball. You dictate the game. That's who you are. Be the bully. This is the problem. It's a mindset issue, right? It starts with coaching, and it goes to the captains, and it goes down through everybody else. I'm going to get to everybody's super chats and comments and all that stuff. I got to get some stuff off my chest first. Some language is going to come out, okay? And rightfully so. You just lost to the damn Arizona Cardinals. You're 0-2 in the division. You should be pissed. Like, come on, man. That's not what a good football team does. 0-2 in the division? You get bullied at home? You got bullied at home. At some point, you got to man the hell up and you got to do something. And the 49ers aren't doing that. They're not doing that. Fred Warner's not doing that. I understand last game was one of the greatest performances ever. This wasn't it. This wasn't it. Nick Bosa, incredible. Herculean type interception and amazing plays in the run game, all those things. That ain't it. Like, you still can't have all those missed tackles. Charvarius Ward, I don't know what the hell that dude's doing. Debo, you're a captain. Debo's a captain. 3 catches, 9 yards. Oh, sorry, no, 3 rush attempts, 9 yards. Debo had 1 catch for 11. That's it. That's it. Kittle had a good game. 8 catches, 64 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 2 drops. Juwan Jennings playing hurt out there with his wrist. He had a huge drop. Ayuk, he had a drop, but Ayuk had a game. 8 catches, 147 yards. Unbelievable. Finally showed up. That's awesome. Where was he at late? He had over 100 yards in the first half. Third quarter, he had a couple takes. Fourth quarter, like almost non-existent. And again, I'm not trying to sit here and say it's one of these guys. No, I'm trying to say, are you a captain? If you're a captain, show us. Kyle Juszczyk, he's one of the guys that blew the block that got Jordan Mason blown up. Still shouldn't have fumbled. That's not Kyle Juszczyk's fault. But it's just like, who are the guys that are driving this? The coaching staff can only do so much. And I'm not saying that they're, whatever either, but it's so easy just to look at it. Okay, team lost, blame coach. That's simple. That's level one understanding of football. It's a myriad of reasons. Special teams, god awful always, and we even got a positive special teams touchdown and lost. Do you know how hard it is to lose a game when you score a touchdown on special teams? It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. Brock Purdy was great. Yeah, you got the 2 interceptions. I get it. One off a tip pass, one off of freaking Jake Brindle's stupid call, whatever, free blitzer. But still, the free blitzer, that's on Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy had major issues this game too. Would not throw the ball away. He just would not throw the ball away. He has to hold on to the ball forever, takes unnecessary hits, major negative yards. We don't even have a field goal kicker. So if we were going to do a field goal kick late in the fourth quarter, which we didn't, we gave up how many? 14 unanswered points. The 49ers scored 0 points in the second half, by the way. That's, if you want to be mad at Shanahan, that's where it comes in. The one thing that I will say, Shanahan stayed with the run game. Should have ran it a lot more in the first and second quarter. That pays dividends in the second half, but whatever. You look at the red zone. This is where you should be upset with Shanahan. Obviously, you went 1 for 6 in the red zone without a kicker. You went 1 for 6 in the red zone without a kicker as an offense. You got all these guys. You got now a lot of it. You'd get in the red zone, and the first play would be a penalty, a tackle for loss. Jake Brindle turn around and watching your quarterback or running back just get decimated by a guy he was supposed to block repeatedly. Dominique Pooney did it twice as well. Like, Dominic Pooney's amazing, but still, it's not the way it's supposed to go. You have to, at some point, say, oh, you got to stop with the whole, oh, shucks, or next play. No, bullshit. Get out there and do something. Charge somebody up on the sideline. And you saw Shanahan in the first half. He was fuming so many times. Juwan Jennings jumps offside when we're in the red zone. I mean, that dude, I wish he was mic'd up because it would have been like 15 F-bombs. He was losing his mind. Missed block by Dominic Pooney. Pissed off. Bad pass from Brock Purdy. I mean, so many different things, but they just compound. You got to get the hell out of your way. And it's just this mentality that seems to have permeated the top of this team. The top of this team. The captains of this team. That, hey, it's on me. Put it on my shoulders, right? Like, and so, like, okay, let's jump out of the 49ers real quick and just understand what greatness is. All right? Greatness. Michael Jordan, probably the clearest definition that most of us were raised with, right? When the game was close, everybody knew who was taking the shot, who wanted the ball in their hands. You always knew. You always knew. With this team, and this is kind of the way that they're built, Shanahan's scheme will find whoever that is. And a lot of times that's cool. But you look at our biggest losses, whether that's in the Super Bowl, whether, if you look at big scale, if you look at just this year, who's our go-to? Who's our go-to? It's the chalkboard. It's the way Kyle draws it up. That's my concern. Why don't you just say, look, the ball is going to this stud. And Ayuk's got 8 catches, 140 plus yards. Awesome. Kittle's going off. But even those guys had drops. Even those guys had missed blocks. Even those guys weren't great. Mason was on fire. Gosh, I wish he would have got the ball more. 14 carries for Mason, 6.4 yards per carry, but he fumbles it in the end. So, like, there's nobody that you could sit here and say, man, this guy, like, you got to trust and instill this freaking, I don't even know what it's called, but this, hey, it all stops with me. That's, and they don't have that. That's not present with the 49ers currently. It's, hey, the scheme's going to get somebody open. Hey, stick with this. It's going to work. Like, we're just going to stay with it. And it's not working. And you're giving games away to bad football teams. They were 1-3 They just got blown out. And they just came into your house and hung around. Alligator blood, alligator blood. Like, you know what? Like just hanging around. Like that's all that they do. It's same thing you let the Rams do, and you let these poor teams beat you because you don't have killer instinct. Step on their damn throats and finish the game. Niners can't do that. Passive, passive, passive. Passive, passive. And there's a lot of guys that had bad games. We'll talk about those. There's a lot of guys that played well, and but I don't give a damn. You just lost by 1 point to the Arizona Cardinals. You suck. You suck. You suck. You had everything that you needed to go do what you needed to do to take hold of this division. You suck, man. And it's coaches. It's sure as hell captains. I'm putting this on the captains more than anybody. But it's role players too.